Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Muzzle is Off podcast. I am your host, Nakia Monet, and we have a special guest with us today. We have Denisha with us. Say hi.
Hey y'all.
And today, I wanted to do something a little different. We wanted to talk about relationships, and we're talking about all kinds of relationships. We're not just talking about, marital relationships. We're not just talking about dating relationships. We're not just talking about, personal relationships. We're talking about friendships, platonic relationships between men and women. We're just going to have a real open and candid conversation as it pertains to relationships because that is something that all of us can literally relate to. Am I right about it?
Girl, carry on.
Okay. So, I wanted us to have like a real just candid, this is like a girl talk type conversation where we can be as raw as we want to be. We can be as uncut as we want to be. We can be as real as we want to be. For the simple fact that I believe that this is going to help some people out as it pertains to understanding, the things that we get into as it pertains to relationships, whether it be your girlfriend, whether it be your boyfriend, whether it be your man, whatever the case may be. Because we get into a whole lot of crap when it comes to these relationships. Can I get an amen?
Girl, amen and a
Hello.
hallelujah.
Listen, okay. And so
Okay.
let's you know what? Let's unpack this a little by little. So let me ask you this, and then you can ask me the same question. I'm gonna answer it. What When it comes to dating, what are you attracted to?
That's a tough question because I kind of feel like each person I come in contact with, um, kind of intrigues me in very different ways, right? So sometimes it's not physical. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not attraction. Sometimes it's personality. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, you may not be physically attractive, but I find your personality amazing and I want to get to know more about you.
Hmm.
Or you could just be drop dead gorgeous and then come to find out that you're an asshole. So I kind of struggle with those things. So I will say that it just really depends on the person. But what would you say?
I have come to realize in my many good failed attempts at relationships that I am I'm more attracted to the mind of a person
Okay.
as opposed to the physical characteristics of a person. So when I'm like now when I'm dating, I'm trying to see where we could relate as far as on an intellectual level, as far as can we have a conversation about any and everything, from what's going on today in this world with politics all the way down to, no, did you watch that Jada and Fab? Like stuff like
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
So
need
really,
to,
you're looking for a well-rounded person, so to speak.
yeah, not no dead,
So,
boring.
so let me piggyback on that, Key, because I kind of feel like you touched on something. So it's interesting that we're interested in well-rounded people, but what happens when you're presented with their representative? Then what? Then you come to find out that they're not all that what they cracked up to be, and that's kind of what I feel like I run into. It's like you're amazing on the surface, you're everything that I want, or you're everything that I think that I want, but then once you quote unquote get the girl, that's when the pursuit stops. That's when the mannerisms change. That's when the behaviors change, and that's when you're revealed to be someone that I'm not interested in. So has that happened to you before? And what are your thoughts on that?
Has it happened?
Okay.
Okay, listen, it has happened more than once. But one of the things that I realized is that I think that's one of the great things about dating, right? Because when you're dating somebody, you literally are supposed to get to know them. That representative can only show up for but so long before you're like, nah, you ain't no, because they start doing certain things, they start saying certain things, they start acting certain kind of way, and you're like, hold up, did
True.
you just switch up with me? Because
True.
before this is what it was, and now this is what it is. Did you just say, wait, what did you say to me? Or did you just renege on a whole word? Like, did you give your word on something and you took that back? A lot of those things start to present themselves. And I think a lot of times what we do is, I know what I did, I ignored a whole lot of signs. You know what I'm saying? In the past, I ignored a whole lot of signs. It was like, it could be like a glaring red warning sign, like, no, stop, don't go. And I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go head first and then get hurt.
Yeah,
Nah.
I think all women do that. I kind of feel like we really go in with well, we try to go in for with a blank slate, even though we still have a lot of hurt and baggage that we carry. But I do feel as though we do genuinely typically go into relationships wanting the best out of them. But to your point, I kind of feel like when you said the representative comes out, and they come out but for so long, I kind of feel like that's situational. I feel like things has to happen in order for that person to reveal themselves. Otherwise, you're going to still be on this fairy tale path until you hit some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you really got to hit some rough patches or some water or some turbulence in order for you to see that person for who they really is in that particular moment, right? So it doesn't mean that this is who they are all the time. It could be a spat, or it could just be a red flag as to, like, you know what, wow, this person could potentially be this way when these type of situations occur, you know?
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, like you said, I mean, sometimes you don't get them warning signs until you a year into in.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes people can put up a good front for so long, and they are everything that you think that they are supposed to be, and then next thing you know, that like you said, that one spat, that one
Right.
argument, that one, and next
Exactly.
thing you know, you a bitch and f you,
You're all of these
and
things, and
yeah,
you nasty, you a bum asshole, and it's just like, oh
yeah.
wow, where that
Like
come
that's
from, boo?
like, oh, that's how you was feeling. So you ain't just
Yeah.
gonna, you know what I'm saying? And that's the realness that a lot of people experience. And I know, even some men could even chime in and say that they've experienced some of the similar situations as far as from women, where they are met with a representative in a woman, and then when look, as they say, when all the makeup comes off, her real true personality comes out, and it's like that ain't nah, that's not what I signed up for,
That's not
you
what I
know.
want.
But
Yeah.
you did say something that was real good because you said a lot of times we try and go into these relationships with a clean slate, but we understand that there is still some underlying hurt and stuff like that that might still be there. There could be some type of baggage and stuff like that that we haven't fully unpacked yet that we might unpack with the person. And sometimes some people they don't want that. They don't want to unpack. They like, no, you need to pack that up.
And that's the thing. And so that's interesting because it's like, on one hand, when you meet somebody, you obviously want them to be perfect, right? But we already know that doesn't exist. So what I'm learning throughout my dating journey is that I really have to be able to be comfortable with certain things that I don't like. You understand what I'm saying? I know I'm not going to get perfection. I understand that. But what is it about you that I don't like that I can actually deal with? And I think that's a key part of trying to establish a relationship, because if I don't like you, we're not going to last. Or if there's things about you that I just can't get over, we're not going to last. Or it's the little things that you do, it may pile up, and then it caused you or I to black out over something that they've been doing forever, and it's just who they are. So I kind of feel like we really need to think deep about what it is that we really want and what it is that we're comfortable with settling with. I think that's an underlying issue as well.
Yeah, because sometimes people don't know what they want. Angel
Right.
commented, Angel said, people actually still date. She was like, that's basically said, that's good. Seems like everyone just moves in together after talking on the phone.
Listen. But you know
Listen.
what? I get it though. Like at our age, like when you're approaching 40, we don't have a lot of time to try to figure things out. And I kind of feel like it's so crazy because I feel like I struggle with this. I feel like
Hmm.
it's on one hand, I want to take my time. I want to get to know the person. I want to make sure I select the right person for me, and I want to be that right person for them. But then on the flip side, I'm running out of time. I need to hurry up and conceive. I need to hurry up and have a baby. Society is, it makes me feel like I'm less than because I don't have a family. So it's just like, it's this balancing thing that I feel like I struggle with. And I wonder if other women feel that way as well, especially if you're approaching 40 with no children. It starts to feel like, okay, it's like, it's something wrong with me, or something wrong with you, or you're an issue because you want to wait, or it's a problem because you want to try to control the narrative, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
just struggle with that because I do feel like I do a lot of trying to control the narrative, right? I'll meet somebody, I want to be friends first. I want to feel a certain way first. And then once I get to, then when I get to step A, then there's a step B. And I'm learning that sometimes I just need to let things flow and not always try to control the narrative. Like that's what I've learned at 37 years old, I learned that I cannot always control the narrative. Stop trying to say, let's be friends first. Let's go to dinner. Let's go bowling. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, how about we just let shit flow and let the chips fall where they may? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I've learned that as I've gotten older, and I've taken a lot of bumps and bruises because of it. Because if it wasn't going the way that I planned,
It's a
then
wrap.
it's a no, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just not fair because I probably missed out on some great men by it not going according to plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. So Tashika said, she said, avoid making solid decisions about a person while you're courting, minimize the repeated trauma, and don't stay too long. And that is a very good point, and that is very true. And what I will also say to piggyback off what you said, I too was caught up in that whole societal, I'm approaching 40, I should have a baby, I should have a family, I want a family, I want to do this, I want to do that. And a lot of that way of thinking led me into situations that wasn't even really good for my own personal being. It wasn't good for my
Exactly.
mental health. It wasn't good for my emotional health. It wasn't good for my spiritual health. And if it damn sure as hell wasn't good for my physical health. Okay. So a lot of times when we place those types of that we literally place rigid constructs around how we think we should date and what we think should happen at this
Right.
particular time.
And we miss out. And we
And
miss
we
out.
truly do miss out. We can miss out on a really good person because we're thinking, you know what? No, because you know what? This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna court for this amount of time. Then we're gonna
Yeah.
be exclusive for this amount of time. And then after that, we should be married at this amount of time. And if we not that, and if that ain't where we going, and if you can't tell me where we going and how we
Then
gonna
I'm
do it, and
good.
when we get, I'm good because I don't need you because my man is gonna come and he gonna be ready and he gonna do this. And a lot of that comes from, truth of the matter is, it comes from a bit of an antiquated way of thinking, right? Because we think
Right.
that because, oh, you know what, my biological clock is ticking and
Right.
I need to have a child at this age because if not, my egg count is dropping, this, that, and the third.
Right.
And
Right.
for myself, I can only speak for myself. For myself, like I'm approaching 40, I'll be 40 in January. And, I was pregnant, miscarried, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying that I'll never have a child on my own or whatever. But I think that the way in which my life is going, that's not a priority anymore. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like right now, I want to be happy and I want to focus on what it is that I got going on for my life right now and
Right.
restructure all of that. Because when I was consumed with all of that other thinking, like, oh, you know what? Oh, this man, he says he loves me. Oh, you know what he says to it?
And all
Because
of those things.
and it was a bunch of smoke and damn mirrors, and it wasn't even
Right.
real. Like
Right.
it wasn't real. And I don't want to experience nothing ever again that's not real. And that's where I'm at with all of that. I don't want to
But to your
experience
so okay,
fakeness.
so Kia, to your point, the fact that you said you want things to flow and you want to be happy, are you willing to let somebody come into your life and make you happy? Like, and that this goes back to what I said with us trying to control the
The
narrative.
narrative.
I
Hmm.
understand that you said, that's not a priority for me, but you know what, you might meet somebody tomorrow that say, having a wife and having a child with my wife is a priority for me. Is this something that you're interested in? Would you be open to that, despite the fact that you just said that's not a priority for me? Because in my mind, that's us once again subconsciously controlling the narrative, right? So I'm trying to get to a place where what I'm really trying to convey to the audience is that, get to a place where we're not always focused on having things being very linear, right?
Yeah,
Step
because
by step by step. Sometimes you're going to have some peaks and valleys, and sometimes things are not going to, you're going to have some circles, and things may not be what you want them to be, but stay prayerful and stay steadfast.
and that's it. Like I say, it's not a priority right now because where I'm at rebuilding, it can't be a priority for where I'm at right now, right? But if someone was to come into my life and be like, you know what? Listen, this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. Are you game? Yeah, I'm game because it's a desire. See,
Right.
I have the desire to be a wife. I have a desire to be a mother. I have a desire for a family. Like all of those things like all of those things are my true heart's desire.
Right.
But am I so focused on it to the point where I'm saying, oh, because if you don't want that, then no, I can't talk to you. Oh, if you don't want that, no,
Right.
because I'm open for love, and I'm open for happiness, and I'm open for
And see,
allowing the
and
natural
see,
support. Yeah.
that's where we differ because I have some non-negotiables. So for me, at my age, I absolutely want to get married. I absolutely want to have children. So when I meet someone, if this is not your priority, it is a no for me. And I know I just said that we shouldn't control the narrative because sometimes you can meet somebody and they be like, you know what? It's a no for me until I get to know you, or it's a no for me until I see where this is going. But for me, it's a hard no up front because I don't want to waste my time. Because, like I said, I have this complex where I feel like I'm running out of
Out of
time.
time.
That
Yeah. And
makes sense. It's like I
no,
don't want to. It's
it
like
does.
yeah. It's like I don't want to waste time with somebody that's not interested in doing the things that I want to do. But then on the flip side, I also don't want to push somebody away that may be perfect for me. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like it's like a lose lose for me. And I'm speaking for me, and I wonder if anybody else can relate. But it's just like
No.
I have these hard negotiables, non-negotiables. It's like I want. It's like what I want contradicts what what I need and
Right.
things like that. It just doesn't make sense.
No, but I think that it's important because you know exactly what you want for you. See, the difference
Yeah.
is that, okay, you're 37, you're saying, no, this is what I want for me, right? I'm
Hmm.
39 and I'm saying I wanted that at one point in my life, but now I can shift my focus to say if it happens, it does, as far as, becoming a mother. Do I want to be a wife? Absolutely. Like that to me is it, to me, being married is a wonderful bond. It's a wonderful connection that you have to where that is my husband, someone that will always ride for me, someone that will, it's just, it's a totally different thing than just having, let's say, just, you just have a man for forever.
Right.
Um, but what I will say, like, I know people that have been with their men for years and have never married them.
True.
Like, for right now, like, that wasn't something that, they were so content and so happy with the way that their relationship is going. They've built things together, they've done things together, that it just, if it happens, they're like, listen, we get married one day, we'll just do it, And I said, I can respect. And there was a point in time in my life, and I was like, no, you need to be married. You can't just be sitting there just living with a person like that. You got to do that.
Yeah,
You got.
and see, and that's why I'm silent on that because I can't judge or try to speak on someone else's relationship and what's working for them. I simply cannot be with someone for an extended period of time without that commitment. And that commitment to me is engagement, marriage. Like I cannot just be out here building with someone that I like, someone that I love. Like I need you to solidify this relationship so that we can let everybody know around us we together and this is what we doing. I just can't. And so, but what I will say, which is probably another topic, I know a lot of people that are not married that are living their best lives versus people who are married and are on the verge of divorce. So, I mean, it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
Right, but
Which one is it, you know?
because everybody got to do what's right for them.
Right.
You know?
So,
Angel said that her and her husband, they got engaged after 6 months, and that was 16 years ago. She said the people thought they were crazy.
no, it's not. If it's see, and to for Angel, I kind of feel like her husband saw something in her and he wanted to lock that down. Like, a lot of men struggle, just like we said earlier, a lot of men struggle with trying to figure out what they want. Her husband, he said, you know what? She's it for me. That's it. 6 months in, this is who I want to be with. I'm happy with her. I'm about to seal the deal. We're about to keep it moving. They 16 years in. You know what I'm saying? So how could you knock that? Versus somebody I know, they've been dating for 10 years. 10, that's a decade, boo. Let's be very clear. A lot happens in 10 years. They got
Oh,
kids.
mm-hmm.
They have children. They've been together for 10 years. There's been no ring, no commitment. So when he gets mad, he just disappears and he's like, but we're not married. Like, really? I can't. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't judge because that's not my business, but it's just like, when you're listening to other people's stories, I try to put myself in their situation, like, how would I deal in a situation like that? How would that make me feel? Not saying that being married would be any different, but I don't know. I just think everything is so situational, and just depends on your relationship with your partner.
Yeah, and your relationship with yourself. My brittle
Yeah.
just said, she said, could it be a turnoff to meet someone and right away you talking about marriage and children? What about meeting someone and getting to know them and let the relationship take its course?
I agree, and that's why it's for me. It's like a catch-22, right? It's like a catch-22 because it's like when you meet somebody and you go with the flow, that's time being wasted.
But
Versus
why
you,
is it time being wasted when you're getting to know the person on a deeper level?
well, because I feel like I don't know. Like for me, I feel like I said, I feel pressure. So maybe how I'm feeling is not the norm, right? It's not the norm for other people. But I feel this intense
No, you'd be
performance of my
surprised how much
yeah,
of the norm it is, because
yeah,
I have had conversations with men that have literally said that, during the course of them dating women, that's one of the things that they actually run away from is these hard negotiables, because
yeah.
their whole thing is, we trying to build, we trying to get to know each other, and you over here. I had one of my friends tell me, because he was dating some woman, and she basically told me, like, all right, well, I feel like we need to get married now because my biological clock is ticking and I need to have a baby. And he was like, wait, pause. We're not even there yet. Like,
And
we're
it's so
nowhere near
crazy.
there.
And the bad thing about that, I can see it from both angles. You know what I'm saying? From his perspective, he's like, "Baby, pump your brakes. You're doing too much." From her perspective, she's like, "Listen, I'm running out of time. If the vibe is here, let's get this party started. If we vibe and if the chemistry is there, let's rock and roll." So I do feel like
But
it's
that's
an
the question,
investment
though.
both ways.
Is the chemistry both ways? Because men internalize what us women do differently than what we do,
True.
right?
It's true.
So men will look at, if you having communication issues, if you having trust issues, if you having integrity issues, all these different issues within your relationship. And a man is going to look at that and be like, we got all these issues, but you over here talking about you want to be married and have a kid. No,
Yeah,
we
that's a
got too
no.
much, we got too much going on. We can't even
Yeah.
come on a common ground of understanding first.
Okay.
And you want
Right.
to get married now because your clock is ticking. No, we need
True.
to come on a common ground of understanding and say,
True.
okay, where is this relationship actually going? Because if it ain't
But
going
remember,
nowhere,
But remember, in that example, that's situational because you may run into somebody and it may be smooth for the first 6 months. I mean, look at Angel's example. 6 months that proposal came. 16 years, they like, what's up? We here. Y'all mad or not? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't really. I mean, I just feel like you just can't judge. I just feel like things are so situational, and it's just so crazy. I don't know.
it is, because it's all up to, it really is all up to the individuals. But my brittle, she said, I agree. 10 years in a relationship without marriage, maybe time to move on. I agree with that too.
Yeah, it's just too much.
True, because after 10 years, you should know something.
Right. I mean, what are we doing?
What are
Then
we
some
doing, and
right,
where
and
are
then
we
some
going?
right, and then some people say, "Well, I don't need a piece of paper to justify my relationship with you," but legally you do. If something was to happen to you, legally you do. So for example, Kia, I'm an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had true story. I had a client. She came to me knocking on my door. She came to me crying. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "My husband abruptly passed away." I said, "Damn." I said, "Okay." I said, "The first thing I'm asking, does he have insurance? Life insurance, whatever. We need to look at the documentation and see what's going on. I'll review it for you and give you advice on how to proceed." She brings this life insurance policy that he had, and the beneficiary was his ex wife. Yeah. So she's crying like, "Well, I mean, we just got married a couple months ago, but what am I supposed to do?" And I said, "Ma'am, this is a legal document." I said, he didn't remove her. She said, "Well, we've been together for almost 12 years, but we just recently got married." In those situations, you have to remember to do the paperwork. And now here she is without, and they have children together. Here she is without, and this ex-wife cashed out on that life insurance policy. You think the ex-wife cut her a piece of check or something? No,
Nope.
ma'am.
No,
No, ma'am.
ma'am. Mm-mm. She said
She
that's
don't have
fine.
to. She
Mm-hmm.
don't have to because it's a legal document. And so her argument was, and now mind you, I'm not an attorney, but her argument was, listen. I've been with him for 12 years. Maybe this is null and void. No, ma'am. It's very real. You can't. I said this is his document. It's legal. It's stamped. It's dated. He never
Not unless
removed her.
he would have had to. Yep.
And the reason why I give that extreme example is because that's why it's important when you're living with someone and you're cohabitating and you're doing things together and you're acquiring wealth and properties and you're blending families. This type of financial impact is important, which is why I think you need to have things in writing, which is why I think marriage is so important, because it is a legal document. It
Yes,
is
it is.
it is a promissory note. You know what I mean? It's a contract between you and I, me and this man, or her and this man. Like, it's a contract. And so when you don't have anything in place, you leave room for people to make decisions about your finances. So I mean, you can imagine how that conversation went. I mean, she's sobbing and screaming on my floor, and there's nothing I can do because, ma'am, guess what? This is a legal document.
It's a legal document.
So what do
Yep.
you want me to do? So I
Nothing.
mean, I just think it was. I mean, it was terribly sad, and it is an extreme case. But I say that to say, how is this any different by dating someone for so long, and then something major happens, and then you have no say so?
Right.
How does that work in that regard?
And it doesn't. I mean, truth be told, it doesn't work. Unless, like you said, unless y'all have established that documentation. I could say, like, when my aunt passed away, she was with her boyfriend for, God, it felt like 20 years or whatever. But one of the things that she did was she made sure she had that documentation in place where she made him and my grandmother the beneficiaries. Why? Because at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
they built something, her and her boyfriend, they built something together. And there was no way that, she was not going to, make both of him and my grandmother 50-50. And that's something that
Absolutely.
you have to be responsible about that and make a conscious decision to do something like that. If you're
Right.
going to just live with someone without marriage, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Right.
certain
You
things that
really,
you have to make
you
a
really have
conscious
to dot
decision.
I's and
Yeah,
cross T's and be very careful and serious when it comes to finances. I really take that in consideration. I mean, I was heartbroken when she came over here. You know what I mean? I mean, what do you tell someone who has children with a deceased person? He's the breadwinner. He's the one, like, she's crying, like, how am I supposed to bury him? I mean, ma'am, I don't know.
because
You know what I mean?
that was probably something that they never even thought was going to happen as fast as it did, and they didn't prepare for it. But if they
So
would, like, when you spend that much time with a person, 12 years, and then you get married, there are certain conversations that after a while, especially if y'all are cohabitating,
yeah,
if
you
you're,
start to
if
forget.
you're commingling
It doesn't even come
funds,
to the brain. It doesn't
yeah,
even come to the forefront of the brain. And so she probably never thought to say, hey,
yep,
life insurance, beneficiaries, we have children. And the ex-wife also had children. So the way he had it set up with the old ex-wife is 100% went to her, was for the life insurance. But then on his bank accounts and all that other stuff, his beneficiaries were his kids with her. He forgot to add the new kids. You see what I'm saying? Like, you
yeah,
really got to
that's
be
that's
on
a that's
top
a
of that
lot.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
you really got to be
that's a lot of forgetting.
right. You really got to be on top of that stuff. Now, granted, some people just say, "Listen, he was just irresponsible." You know what I mean? And the wifey should have been on top of her shit and made sure that he had done what needed to be done. But I mean, again, I don't judge. Maybe it slipped her mind. Maybe it wasn't that important. But he literally had bank accounts that had the old children, right? And I'm not saying, and I swear I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just basically giving you like trying to
Yeah.
explain how it looks on paper. On
Hmm.
paper, he protected this ex-wife and her children, but then he left out his current wife and their
And their
children.
children. Yep.
So it's just sloppy and it's just sad, but I digress. We can come back to relationships.
Listen, okay, but that was a good point to make though, as it pertains to relationships, because that was a lot of forgetting
Yeah,
and a lot of lack of planning that went into play with that. Like my Brittle said, if you're living together, sharing expenses and assets, it's important to have your paperwork straight. That is the truth.
facts.
Okay, because when you are sharing and all of that, that means that if something happens to me unexpectedly, you need to be able to carry on. And if something happens to you unexpectedly, I need to be able to. Everybody need to be
Exactly.
protected
We
in
need to
this
be good.
relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so my
Exactly.
brittle said, but when should you do that? Before you move in together? And yeah, you should have that discussion. Like, if you are going to decide, like, you know what, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move in together. Then that level of a discussion needs to be had so that you can understand. Like, okay, well,
Absolutely.
listen. If something was to happen to me and we living together, I got this, I got that. This is what you're gonna need, and you can put it in a good old lock safe box together, whatever the case may be, so that and then pray that don't nobody have like a snap moment or like one of them other like fatal attraction type movies or something like that.
Girl, bye.
People
And then
maybe.
with the situation that you just mentioned, to throw a wrench in that, what happens if it's one of those situations where I own the home and he moves in with me? Then what? This is my house. So he's gonna want a portion, a piece of, you see what I'm saying? It's a whole nother topic, but again, let's think about it. Let's think through that, right? It's very different if two people come together. They both come from meager beginnings. They come together, they get an apartment together, right? They're on the lease together, they're building together. That's very different than when you meet somebody and you move in their shit. Then how do you have that conversation? How do you tell your dude, the dude that you're dating, that you know what? I'm gonna need you to make sure I'm good, even though this my shit. Or it's your shit. And how do I tell you I need to be good in case I get knocked up, or we're sharing expenses? I know that this is your home, but I'm paying half your mortgage. Or I'm buying groceries and we're sharing expenses. Like, again, I'm an accountant, so I think very financially, which
Mm-hmm.
which could be to my benefit or detriment, because when I have these conversations with guys that I'm dating, they're not comfortable having this conversation. They don't want to talk about that.
How
I want to
soon
talk
is it?
about
But is the
credit.
conversation? When is the conversation happening? That's the question. Is that conversation happening right off the bat? Like, yo, what's your credit
No,
score?
well,
I'm
it
joking.
shouldn't. Y'all shouldn't. Y'all should look at day one. Y'all trying to eat some appetizers. The first thing somebody talk about some less splitting assets. I mean, hell no. You don't do that in the very beginning. But like your commenter said, one of your viewers said, once you get to a point where you get comfortable and you both had to decide on that comfort level,
I
that's
agree.
when, what I'm saying, that's when you have that discussion. So I kind of feel like there's not a mm, there's not a rubric for it, right? There's not a formula. It's situational. It's situationally driven. It just depends on how we rocking. Like, what if,
Right. But
I've
that's
met
why,
people. That's
yep.
what I'm saying. Like, I've met people. I rock, like we mesh well. Like, beginning, like we moving quickly. Things is good. Then I meet people. I don't want to go on a second date, third date, or you know what I'm saying. I don't want to see you again.
I
Or
don't
we'll
even
go
want
on
to
a,
talk.
what I'm saying, or we'll go on a couple dates. 3, 4, and you get to that fourth one, you're like, he ain't for me, or she ain't for me. You know what I mean? And then you just cut it off. So I just think it's all situational. I really
Everything
do.
is, you know what, but everything in life is situational because everything is truly based on how it's how you feel about whatever it is that's going on around you, right? Like
Right.
Angel said, she was like, I feel even if you have non-negotiables or want certain things, it should be discussed because you give that person a choice. I feel like we should never take away a person's choice. I
I
150%
agree.
agree with
Agree.
that because one of
Agreed.
the worst things you can do is remove someone's option to choose. Because
Absolutely.
I live in a good free will society, and you gonna give me, and see that's what the hell was wrong with the ex. He didn't give me the option to choose. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You give someone the option to choose whether they want to deal with you, knowing that you still married.
Right.
Now I
Girl,
would have
bye.
said no.
That's a whole nother topic. Ooh, child.
I
We
would
could
have said no and moved completely on from the entire situation. But no,
yeah.
people want to rope you into some nonsense and then get mad when you decide, like, nah, now I'm gonna blow you up because you just did
Right.
some
When you
dumb
say, you
shit.
know what, this is not for me. Now we mad. Girl, bye.
No. So let's talk about this dating people over the 40 and over in today's society.
Ooh,
Can we
child.
talk about it?
Girl, let me tell you. My experience has just been terrible. Um, I just I'm pretty much speechless. I have not had a great experience yet. So for me, and I wonder if anyone else could relate. For me, guys that are over 40, they're already fathers. I very rarely meet very rarely meet a guy that's over 40 that's not a father. If he is, he's very rare, right? It's either a father or he's divorced or married.
Mm,
It's
mm,
either
mm,
those
mm.
three.
Hello.
Because
Mm-hmm.
even the guys that are over 40 that are single, they have a chip on their shoulder. At least that's what it feels like to me. It's like, listen, it's 15 of you to one of me. I'm this, and this. I can choose. I don't need you. That's how I feel. Like I never feel like these guys kind of care about what you bring to the table because there's multiple Nakias. There's multiple Denishas. You know what I'm saying? And it's only this one guy. So that has been my experience. I haven't had a good dating experience at all.
Oh,
What about
dating
you, Keith?
girl. So all right, so we're gonna tell us a good story. I had this was the first guy that I actually can say that I actually dated post my annulment. And he was actually 50.
Okay.
And so, in the beginning you getting to know people and I felt like he was probably trying to like gas me a little bit, right?
Okay.
Like, oh, I got this, oh, I got that, oh, because I like to travel, and therefore, since I like to travel, you could quit your little job because what you got this car note, you pay this rent. I mean, I can handle all of that. That's not a
Oh,
problem.
okay.
So
So he tried to downplay your expenses a little bit.
what, girl,
Okay.
down? He was like, "What you got this little? I can handle all of that. Like
Oh, okay.
you won't have to work. You know what I'm saying? And what I would do is, this is what he said. He said, and what I would do is that once you quit your job, I would put $20,000 in a bank account with mine and your name on it, so that if we don't work out, at least you would have 20,000 to fall back on." I said, "Sir, I don't make $20,000 a year
I cannot.
because I don't." Right? I said, "So you would have to add some more zeros to that in order
Yeah.
to make sure I'm stable for if we don't work out, right? Because there's
That
no way that I'm going to sit up here and think that $20,000 is going to help me. This ain't
good.
unemployment, okay? We ain't just doing this for 6 months. We're going to have to secure Nikita if that's what
That
you're trying to
girl.
do. But, honey, let's just say this. All of that crap was smoke and mirrors. You hear me?
Girl.
All of that was smoke and mirrors. Because I'm going to tell you why. Because after he said it, I said, you know what? Because I love a good game. I do. I said, let's see how this works. So we was dating for like almost a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so can I quit my job now? He was like, what? I was like, can I quit my job now? He was like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to. I was like, no, because remember that time when we was going to the good restaurant,
Yeah. Because
you
he said,
outlined all of this. Because you could do
yeah.
this, because I got this, and what is this, and this, that. I was like, so I'm just asking you, can I quit my job now? And he was like, I mean, I was like, I'm just joking. I said, because I'm not going to quit my job. I was like, however, this is why you shouldn't say certain things to people, trying to make it seem like you can do something.
Right. Now, what if you had believed that and ran off with that, quit your job? Like, okay, babe, now you turn into a dependent woman.
I'm not doing
And
that.
now it just creates room for you to be abused and mistreated because now you're dependent on him to take care of you.
But let's take it a step further, right? Because as you get to know people and as you get to grow with people, right? You talk, and he was like, "You don't have any kids?" I said, "No." I was like, "But yeah, you got two daughters. Yeah, okay, cool, whatever." He was like, "Well, do you want a kid?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it's a desire. I want one." He was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Why? Do you?" Like, I'm just asking, like, you asking me questions. I'm gonna ask you some questions. I was like, "Why do you?" Yeah, I always wanted to at least have one more. I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
Okay.
Left it alone. So, like I said, we were dating for like a year. A good year goes by. Next thing you know, he like had, I don't even know what it was. He had like had a minor little mental breakdown or something like that. I don't even know. Everything was detrimental. oh, and you know what? I just don't want any more kids because kids are disrespectful. Kids are this, kids are that, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I was like, no, kids aren't. I said, but if they are, that's because that's how you raise them. I was
Right.
like, and I was like, let's just make one thing clear. I said, I made it clear from you from the beginning that I wanted a child. I said, and like you, I said, that's non-negotiable for me. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, and the fact that you really thought that you could just sit here and switch this whole thing up on me and you think that I'm a rock with that, I was like, I'm not. I was like, so, we could be done. It's cool.
Yeah.
And there were
Yeah.
other things that went into play with that because one thing about me, I'm an open and honest person. Like in anything, if you talk to me straight, I'm good. But if you start going through the back door, around the corner, and all to the extra stuff, I got
Up the
problems with it.
street. It's just too
Yeah,
much.
like
It's too
it
much.
is. It's too much. I'm a direct person, so if I ask you a direct question, I expect a direct answer. I don't expect all that extra stuff because I don't like it. Like I feel like if you trying to lead me into a circle, I'm gonna take that good detour and go straight this way. So it was a situation that arose, and because he had like a lake house or whatever, and all this other extra stuff. So um, he wasn't fully honest about who was at the lake, and it was him, it was his ex-wife, and his daughter and her friends because it was his daughter's birthday. So it came out like maybe a week after the fact that that's what was going on down there because he got angry with the ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
So now because you angry with her, now you want to tell me. And I was like, well, I didn't know she was down there. Well, how else would those kids eat? I was like, I don't know. They're not kids. They're 20-year-old grown women. So I figured
Yeah.
20-year-old grown women know how to cook for themselves. I was like, but the fact that you actually hid that and then tried to flip it on me like I should have known that. I was like, I don't play those type
Yeah.
of games. I was like, I don't do
Yeah.
so that 50 years old, still playing the game.
Playing those type of games.
50. So I'm like, you know what? And the truth of the matter, I mean, I had one dude, he was like 60 trying to talk to me, playing those games. Oh, I'm gonna take you here, I'm gonna take you there, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and they did nothing. I just think that these games that get played, there's no age limit to them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree with that. I
yeah,
stand by that. I think I agree with the fact that there is no age limit. It just seems like they all consistently play the same game though. It's like there is no evolution of the game. Like it's consistent bullshit. It ain't like it's some new shit or
no,
some refurbished shit. It is the
right.
exact same shit.
It,
Y'all do the exact same bullshit and then get mad when women don't want to be bothered with that. Like it's annoying. Um and and I hate to say this, but it feels like this type of behavior is what causes women to become bitter and standoffish and fearful of trying to give someone a chance because of this same lackadaisical attitude about being serious in a relationship with somebody. It's always some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like if we not vibing no more, baby, please say something because you know what? I might feel the same way or I might be shocked, but I'll be appreciative that you at least cut us off before my feelings get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like people just don't want to protect
exactly.
your energy sometimes. Like, protect me from the bullshit. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
And
Like
and
just keep my space positive. Like it's okay to date somebody and go out a couple times and say, you know what, this is not working out for me. But I had an amazing time with you. I hope we can stay connected and friends or at least network. I may be able to use you in the future. You may be able to use me as well. Let's keep in touch. Let's stay cordial. It doesn't have to be nasty. I don't understand that. And this goes for friendships as well.
yes.
Besides romantic relationship, this goes for friendships as well because I also feel like sometimes you can outgrow people.
Hmm.
I have friends had past tense that I have outgrown. It does not mean I don't like you. It doesn't mean you're not a great person. It just means that we are not on the same wavelength and we think very differently. Our integrity is different and I'm somewhere different as you are too. It doesn't have to be nasty and I just kind of feel like people don't know how to diffuse disagreements and arguments and they don't know how to break away from toxic relationships. It doesn't have to be nasty. It doesn't have to be, oh fuck you bitch. And like for example, I think I saw on Facebook a couple weeks ago, two best friends used to be best friends going at it. They're cussing each other out. They both leaking each other's secrets. Why is that? How
Why?
when does it ever have to get to a point where it's like that? None of y'all got cool points. Y'all don't none of y'all look good. The whole entire audience that's on both of your pages are laughing at you. You don't get a pat on the back for telling your best friend's secrets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when do we get to a point where we just get to a point where we say, you know what, damn, that's so far below the belt. I'm not going
I'm
there.
not
Like, I
going
just
there.
feel like the stuff that I sometimes witness, the stuff that I sometimes see is incredible. I'm like, you know what? I fell out with some people before, but you better know your secret will be safe with me. Period.
And
I
I
just
am
don't
the same
understand these
way.
folks sometimes.
I do not fall. If I fall out with you, it's just we fell out. But
Yeah,
your secrets, like Alicia Keys sang,
never.
are safe with me. I'm not doing that. I have had people fall out with me and tell all the good business that I possibly
Mm,
could have ever told them, which is perfectly
mm,
fine. Because I put it to you like this: if it's something that I ain't want out, I wouldn't tell you no way. So
exactly.
if the reason that you know it is because I don't care, whoever the hell else you tell know it, and if
Right.
someone come back to me with it, I can say, yeah, I did it, and so what?
And see, and that's the kind of motto I've taken on as I've gotten older. That's what my mom told me. May she rest in peace. That's what she told me. She said, "Listen, you do your shit by yourself." And she said,
Hmm.
once you tell it, be prepared to hear it. She
Mm-hmm.
said, so be very careful about what you say. So I do absolutely believe that. I believe in if I tell you, I'm comfortable with it coming out.
I'm
That's
good
it.
with it coming out.
I'm
Like
good.
it's okay. I'm not gonna be
And I'm
embarrassed.
gonna
I'm not
own
gonna
it.
be ashamed. I'm gonna stand in it and be like, yeah. I had it happen to me like some years ago. This girl, she was like, well, because she said this and she said, and you running back to me telling me everything that she said. And then she was like, yeah, because but the things that she was saying just didn't match what I was seeing in you. I said, yeah, because the things that she's saying happened like over 2 years ago. Like, yeah, but no, I did do that. But I didn't
Yeah.
do it like that. This is how I did do it. But I did
Yeah.
that. And it's okay because I don't care because I did it. And I'll
Yeah.
stand in whatever
And
the
I'm
hell I
owning it.
did.
Right. And
Yeah,
it's
because
about it's a girl,
I'm
it's
too
about
old
being
to
a
be
woman.
ashamed.
Right. And it's about being a woman and being able to be accountable for your action. Like I've done some shit. I've done
Hello.
some fucked up
Hmm.
shit. Girl, I done did some shit that I can just blink about. I'm just
Hello.
gonna blink.
Because
I'm
ain't
just
no,
gonna blink.
listen, we all gonna blink. Ain't no words.
I
Ain't no
done
word.
did some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm old enough to own it. I'm old enough to apologize for it. I'm just old enough to just be a better person and say, yeah, damn, that one right. You know what I'm saying? Or learning from that, or you know, taking that L. And when I say taking that L, have you ever had a situation where you actually were the reason why you lost a good friend? I
Yeah.
have. I did some shit. I did some shit. Um, and I lost a good friend. That's on me. I have to live with that. So no matter how many times I apologize, I mean, this is some high school shit, but it still bothers me because it made me who I am today. And I've learned from that. But my thing is, be careful how you treat people because you could potentially lose someone that you really didn't think you gave a fuck about for real.
And
You know
you
what I'm
really
saying?
do. I've
And
had to go back and apologize to friends have had to come back to me and apologize. We've had
yeah,
to apologize, to each other in order to, rebuild a friendship
yeah,
that really and truly never should have been broken. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I've had to do that. Me and my one friend, I think we probably did it like 2 or 3 times at this point now. Now we old enough, we realize certain things where when you allow other people within your mix and they try to tarnish certain stuff and try to play games and pit
Yep.
people against each other. So you have to come
Yeah.
to the knowledge of all of that as well. And to me, although my sister swears I don't have any friends, because girl, she tried to clown me because I was like, no, my friend Denisha's coming. She was like, yeah, what? I was like, you know what? Don't try and clown me. I got friends.
Girl, bye. We've been kid. How long? We've been friends since college, baby.
Yes, ever since that good African American lit class, we've been lit ever
Girl.
since. Okay,
Baby.
sitting right there in the front of that class. Okay, no, but
Yes.
that's because she knows that I don't talk to a lot of people, and I don't. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. And It's just because I have learned over the years to keep people, if you keep people like this, right? Those are the ones that are close to you, they're your family. So you keep them like this. And everybody else, they be there, you say hi, bye,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. But those that are
Absolutely.
like your family, you keep them like that. So every time she hear me mention somebody new that she might not have heard before, I'm like, don't play with me. I got
Like,
friends.
don't do
Okay.
that.
No,
Listen, tell your sister I've been around, boo. Don't do that. I've been here. I've been here.
okay. But no, but it's important because I believe in friendships. I used to have people say, oh, because I ain't got no friends. Well, something's wrong with you if you don't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again. Something is wrong with you if you do not have friends because you should have friends. And if you don't have friends, that means, you know what? Look at my sister. She said, you ain't ever mentioned her name. Shut up, Nadia.
I've been around, boo. I've been here.
Don't come for me. You know what? But because she has, because me and Denisha do not speak every single day, right? Get it, Nadia. You know
We've
what?
been rocking for years, though.
But we
We've
don't
been
speak.
rocking for
The
years.
difference is we don't speak every single day. But you can message me and I'll be like, girl, okay. And I
Yeah.
know I can message you like, girl, how do you
Yeah.
do this? You my good tax advisor person. I'm like,
You
girl, what
know
is
it.
y'all better follow Denisha too because she puts up them good tips on her Facebook. Be like, why don't
I
you
sure
read?
do.
Yeah, she do. She be like, why don't you read this code while you sitting up here trying to read something instead of reading Facebook statuses? Read the code, so and so and so and so. It's
Right.
only 15 pages, but you got time. I'll be like, you know what?
I
This
cannot.
why this why the folks just
I
gotta
do what I
hire up.
can because what I try to do, I try to educate in a very comedic way. So just a different way
Yeah.
to do things. But yeah, girl. But I've been around, sister. Don't start this shit. Don't start this. We were supposed to go to Paris, Kia. Remember?
Yes, we were, and we still gonna go as soon as COVID over. They done banned us in the UK. We can't go over
Girl.
there yet. The UK said keep
Right.
y'all COVID infested South Americans on the American soil. Don't come on over here with that foolishness. We got stuff under control. Y'all over here increasing y'all numbers. That's what the
I
UK
know that's
said.
right. Girl, we
UK
got to
said
get our whole life.
all of it, all the way together with this. But nah, that one thing I want to say. That's why it's like to me, friendships, all of that is very important. Relationships are very important. It is good to build bonds with people. You don't always have to be, a lot of people swear that men and women just cannot be platonic friends. I got a brother, right? My brother Vincent. We are just friends. You know,
Yeah.
my sister cutting up in these good comments. She was like, I guess I'll meet you one day. I can't think, you know what? You know what? You just virtually met her. Denisha, say hi to Nadia.
Hey, Nadia, boo.
See, boom. But yeah, and that's my brother for real. You know what I'm saying? And people swear that you just can't be platonic.
Yeah, I have platonic friends, male friends, several.
And I could be platonic friends with a man now. Whether they attracted to me, that's a different story. I ain't got no control over
That's
that.
not my business.
That ain't
That's not my
my business.
business.
That's
That's
between us and their
my
emotions.
business.
You feel what I'm saying? But I
Right.
know how to be platonic friends with the opposite sex, and I know how to be a good girlfriend to
Right.
my good girlfriends, like my girl Gail. Gail up on here somewhere. You know what, Angel? I bought that Seymour stuff. You know what? I bought the Seymour because he done hit girl. Vincent went on all these posts telling me to buy Seymours. Posts that I'm tagged in, which is other people posts telling me to buy some Seymours. That's neither
I
here. That was a whole
cannot.
other thing. No, because he went overboard with that. I was like, listen, get off my Facebook. You know what? That's it. I'm ignoring you now because you done
Right.
called my
Girl,
good
CMOS
Facebook.
is the wave, okay?
Listen here, the folk need to get into whatever they need to get into. Folk over here, Seymour it up,
CMOS
elderberry.
and that damn diet tea, that lasso tea.
Let me tell you something about that lasso
Girl.
tea. I know we off topic, but that's all right. This is what homegirls do. Girl, I drank that lasso tea for the good 5 days. Ain't go to the bathroom not one time.
And they said it's supposed to clean you out. I never had it. I
I
don't know.
listen, I don't know. It wasn't working for me, and that's just how that went. And I was just like, this is a waste of my time. So you know what I did? Went to the got me that good D herbs and started really working out. And you know what I'm saying? Girl down about, 15, in between that good 15 to 20 pound mark. I'm like, yeah. I
I
said,
know that's right.
but my girlfriend, Valerie sent me some other tea stuff, so I'm gonna try hers once I'm off of this cleanse with this herb stuff, and I get back to eating the good regular
No,
food or
that's
whatever.
right.
Yeah, because I'm last time. What we're not about to do, I'm not about to put on this weight that I done lost having that good weight loss surgery all over again because
I know
COVID.
that's right.
Listen,
Girl, bye.
COVID came in and messed up life. You hear
Girl,
me?
you see how thick these arms are? I need to get my whole life. Girl,
Girl, you
bye.
can get you some of that D herbs. I'm trying to tell you that D herb is really working. It really. I ain't
Make
even
sure
gonna lie to
you know
you.
what? Send me the link, send me the information because I'm gonna use it for real. Because listen, I have my weight goes to the twins and these arms.
At least you got
Girl,
twins. I ain't got twins.
fix it, Jesus. Girl,
Mine
fix it,
is,
Jehovah.
I ain't got twins.
I
They
can't
just
be bothered.
they just
Girl,
there. I
these
got a
damn
booty though.
these damn near quadruplets. Girl, bye. Don't start, kid. Don't get me to start talking. Don't start this shit tonight. I
You
thought we was
know,
gonna do good. I thought we was gonna go. I thought we was gonna do good.
we be trying to do good, but you know what? That's why the good Apostle Paul said every time I try to do good, evil is so ever present around me. I'm joking because ain't nothing evil about what we doing. But nah, um, Angel said, "Girl, you need a good clean out." She said, "Get you some Epsom salt and water. It's gonna change your life."
Oh, that's
Listen,
right.
so what you supposed Angel? So what you just drink that? Angel, I'm gonna
What the
need you to
Epsom salt?
yeah, you just with the water. You just what you got to do with that? I don't. Can you drink Epsom? I don't even know. Angel.
I gotta go to Google, Angel, cause you I don't know. I gotta ask Dr. Phil. I don't know what the
You know,
hell,
no, Doctor. Whatchamacallit? What's his name?
girl. Eyes,
Yeah, we got because Doctor Phil he been and told us about our relationship issues, but
girl. Bye. That's worse than listening to Steve Harvey. Girl, bye. Ooh, yeah.
Steve Harvey said he was gonna tell us how to think like a man but act like a
Ooh,
woman, a lady,
ooh.
whatever the heck that
On his
said.
third marriage, baby.
You know what?
You
He
know, I went
got
to
her.
high school. I went to high school with his twin daughters.
She said 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt, 8 ounces of water. She said it's disgusting, but baby, she said to clean you up. Girl, go ahead.
Do it. You do it first, kid. Let me know how
You
that
know
go
what?
out.
How you gonna put? You know what?
Be supportive, boo. Be
Girl,
supportive.
I just told you what I was doing. I am trying to be supportive. I'm supporting you
Right.
and telling you what I'm doing. Work out,
You
clean.
right.
Look, no carbs. I ain't had a carb in almost 20 days. Not a carb. You hear me? Except for the
Woo,
I
that's
had some
hard.
sunflower.
That's hard. I need fries. I need
You
bread.
don't need no fries. See, this is how. See how. I hope y'all understand. This is how we interact. This is how friends should interact. You know what I'm saying? This is how friends interact with each other. We try and uplift each other and tell each other the
Right.
good stuff. She over here want fries and bread. No, stay away from the fries. Stay away from the
Okay.
bread. Okay, stay away from the pasta. Okay, all of that.
Ooh, I love pasta.
See, and
Okay.
that's why the twins in them arms is loving pasta
Girl,
too. You
you
know what
see
I'm
they
saying?
damn near poking out. Girl, bye.
They always poked out there. I'm just gonna be honest.
I mean, you know
That's
that
what
they
I
have, but
thank you, Sade. But you know what? When I was bigger, I was looking at a picture of me from 5 years ago. I think when I was it might have been 6 years ago, whatever it was, and I was super big. I was like, that's back when I had twins. They was there, and now they're not there no more.
I know that's right.
I,
Girl, bye.
that, I, I was like, that was all that good eating that made them act right. And now they ain't acting right no more.
I know that's right. But
They
this was
just
bomb. This was a great conversation.
Yes, this is what we do as women. This is what we got to do. We got to have open and honest conversations about the things in which we need to talk about because one of our biggest issues is relationships. Some of us don't know how to keep them. We don't know how to maintain them. We don't even know how to create them, because people want to get on this competition type stuff. Some people just literally just don't know how to be friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you gotta know how to be friendly. Like one of the things I could say when we first met, that was one of the first. You were like, "Hey, girl," I was like, "Hey."
Yeah,
Some of these
it's
people,
crazy because that's exactly how we met. It was just very friendly, like, "Hey, girl, what's your major? What's your major? Oh, okay." Like that was it. That's all it takes. It takes nothing, zero effort to be kind to someone. That's
right?
it.
And
And
some
it
of
just
these folks,
blossomed. Like our friendship has just blossomed over the years. It's crazy.
exactly. And some folks just act like they just be baptized with vinegar and pickle juice and just all.
Ooh, girl, not pickle juice. Girl, please.
Because they be
Dipped
all
in
snap.
hot sauce. Dipped in
Hello.
hot sauce.
They be sour and spicy at the same damn time, and it's annoying
That's like
because you.
stupid.
I'm just saying because you can't build with a person like there's nothing to build with a person like that because you don't know what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So, Denisha, I want to thank you for coming on today and getting us jump started with our conversation
Thank you for
about.
having me, boo. I
Listen,
appreciate you having me. I love this, this dialogue. Definitely let me know. We could talk about some real, like, I have some stories, like, Kia.
well, come back next week and let's unpack it because we can do this. Come back
Because
next
I'm
week.
telling you, like, my stories are so crazy. Like, my dating life is insane. And, like, it's so much comedy to it. Like, that's why I'm just like, you know what? I need a platform to tell these stories because my shit is
Well,
funny.
Well, come on, we're gonna do it next week then. You and
Let's do it.
it's gonna be me, you, and Nikita up here, and we gonna unpack these good stories because I got some girl. You already
Girl.
know.
Look, we
You
gonna wait till next week for that.
Yes, we are definitely going to wait till next week to unpack these stories because this was literally this was to give people the teaser of what we're talking about because we're going to really
Girl.
get into this whole dating, relationships, all this stuff, friendships, everything because
Yeah.
I just think it's important to unpack this because some of us are some of y'all are nasty. I ain't going to say us because I ain't part of that group, but some of y'all just nasty and need to learn how to get rid of your nastiness and learn how to be friends.
And
And
just learn how to be a friend.
yeah, because even when you're dating, one of the best things to do is have a great friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
believe in that. I have surely learned how to be now you got to be my good friend, okay?
I
Because
know that's right.
if a bitch stuck on this good side of this road, I'm gonna need you to be able to be like, you know what? As
I'm gonna
my
pull
friend,
up.
hello, Paul.
Girl.
Or
Rolling
send
and all.
look,
Hennessy in the
look,
cup and all. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna pull up though. I'm gonna pull up.
or send somebody, okay?
Girl.
Send help, please, okay? That's what I'm
I
talking
know
about.
that's
So
right.
thank you, girl. I really appreciate you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Know I love you.
I
And I
know I do. I love you too, boo.
and I can't wait for next week. So, guys, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. You know what, Indonesia, I thank you for keeping me an hour. You know what? This was so great. I love it.
Yeah.
But I really thank everybody for tuning in. Do not forget, tune in next week, Wednesday. It's going to be me, it's going to be Denisha, and it's going to be Nikita. And we're going to continue on this journey and we're going to tell our good stories and unpacking these relationships. Because there's a lot of things that people don't know that it really might help other people to unpack some of the things that they've experienced
Exactly.
as well. And if we could tell our story on how we got through some of this nonsense, because you already know some of this was just pure nonsense, then it can help somebody else that might be facing that nonsense and be like, you know what? I probably shouldn't be dealing with this nonsense either. Nope, you shouldn't. Let's go. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope everybody has a good night. Um, I will see y'all on the other side of next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're gonna unpack relationships, dating, and everything else. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
Good night.